I'm Zara, and joining me for a chat is Lindsay Impett. Hey, Lindsay.
Hi, Zara. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you.
Good.
It's so good to speak to you. And as you know, it's been almost a year since, the opening day of the Vitality Netball World Cup. And as event director of that incredible event, I just want you to take me back to the night before the first day. What were you feeling? What was going on in your head? How long was your to-do list? What was going on that night?
Goodness me, the night before it all began. Well, I suppose it had actually been going, we'd been in Liverpool since the 30th of June doing volunteer training. So we'd actually been up there for pretty much 2 weeks prior to the 12th of July and the first day. And so that point for me didn't really feel like the night before it all began. It felt like something that we'd been working through for me for 2.5 years, and for some of my team 2 years, year and a half, 6 months, and actually 2 weeks that we'd already been there. But I think the night before was when it was all going to become public. So we'd held events already. We had the Congress had already been held. The Congress celebration event and the candle lighting ceremony had already been held. So we'd had those events that were internal to the netball family who were attending. But the wide family was then coming into the venue the night before, and we were rehearsing sport presentation, the actual run through of a match, and the ceremonies rehearsals right up until late that night before. So I do not remember what time I got to bed, but I think I was pretty much falling into bed and then waking up maybe 5 hours later to crack on with the next day. But it was that anticipation of inviting the world in to see what we'd built. And I was tweeting some pictures this week, and I tweeted that yesterday, I think it was the first time that Jo Adams, now Joanna Coates, came as the CEO of England Netball, came into the venue. And she came in and she burst into tears, and she won't mind me saying that because she put it on Twitter. And that emotion that she felt was probably, for me, was like 100 times that, because I was just very proud that she was very proud as to what myself and the team had achieved. But I knew that when I had that reaction from her, I knew what reaction we were going to get of people coming in. We just needed to then make sure that it all ran smoothly and ran to time, and obviously things happened along the way, but generally the event went incredibly well, and we were really, really proud of it.
It was so successful, record breaking attendance figures, that fan park, which was then called the Rose Garden, had thousands flock to watch the netball on the big screens. Just so much about it was just, I guess, unprecedented. It was amazing. Did you ever expect it to be as successful as it was?
Hoped, I imagine. Expected, no, although I do know what the netball family thinks about its big events and about supporting not just the England Roses but every single team that came there. And I think it's that passion and the culture of the sport that meant that I knew we would have a successful tournament. We were helped by the Roses winning the Commonwealth Games. We gathered momentum from April 2018 onwards, but I think I always knew that the netball family, the community, would really stand up and support this event. And because of the support that they put into the event through purchasing tickets, we were actually able to improve the delivery because we had a little bit more money to be able to spend to make it the event that we wanted it to be. I think I got a radio call through on Friday the 12th at 8:30. So I think the first match was at 9 o'clock. Basically told me that there were some New Zealand supporters sitting in the fan park waiting to watch the first match in the drizzle. And at that point, I just knew, I was like, if we've got people at 8:30 in the morning waiting to watch the New Zealand game, I was like, we're set. It was the netball community, but also the support of the city, who really embraced the event. That just meant sort of, it wasn't just in the venue that was successful, it was the feeling that we had around the city and in the fan park. And I did say to you, Zara, I could literally talk for hours, but I remember there's this photo of Liverpool winning, when they won the Champions League, and the entire photo is red. It's in the middle of Liverpool. It's the Liverpool bus, and everybody is supporting them winning and doing their tour around Liverpool. And there's a little purple poster flag that I can see in the corner of Netball World Cup. And I think for me, it just yeah, it really showed me that, you know, the city, a great sporting city, was just supporting the Netball World Cup through everything that they did, which was absolutely
That's
fantastic.
legacy
So,
right there.
absolutely.
Yeah. I want to talk to you more about, you know, the legacy. You had a special vision as a team, as an organisation, to empower women and children and get more people to participate in the sport, which happened. So yeah, well done for that. But why was it so important to have a legacy?
I don't think Netball World Cup 2019, as in the team that organised the event, can truly take not responsibility, credit for that legacy. I would definitely put that in the shoes of England Netball, of their development team, their events team. You know, every single person who works for England Netball embraced Netball World Cup and saw it as an opportunity. I again don't think they'll mind me saying that off the back of the Roses winning the gold medal, it was a bit of a surprise. So the fact that they could then spend, you know, 16 months planning for the impact that Netball World Cup had, that Commonwealth Games gold gave them an insight into the impact that raising the awareness of netball would have. So they were much more prepared coming off the back of Netball World Cup. And the legacy has been not just around, you know, more participation, more clubs, you know, more products. The under 11s B netball was launched at Netball World Cup, and it's been so well received. But also you saw it in the events that the England Netball staged in January, sadly not able to then stage anymore due to the coronavirus. But the kind of learnings I think that England Netball took from Netball World Cup, you can see in that delivery for their events as well. So across the spectrum, England Netball have delivered a fantastic legacy. I just hope with everything that's happened with coronavirus that it keeps going and that the support for netball continues. I mean, I've seen that across Twitter, across social media, with all the netball players who are desperate to get back out and play. So, you know, we had a real peak in 18 and 19, and I just feel England Netball, and I'm sure they'll do a fantastic job, will continue with that momentum, just in different ways through digital channels, etc.
Definitely. Going back to all that hard work and commitment that went into creating the event. I mean, you say you started sort of 2.5 years out. What was your exact role during the tournament? What were you doing sort of day to day, Lindsay?
So I probably started my involvement, well, I did start my involvement with the tournament 4.5 years out. So I started as a part-time project manager, and I was very, very lucky to be involved in the journey from start to finish. So the end 2 weeks is such a short period of time in comparison to everything that you've put in place. But I think a lot of my job was around supporting the team who delivered. So I was there to lead the team. I was there to give them the support that they needed to do the jobs that they had to do. I also did quite a few costume changes because I was generally in my kind of event staff kit, but I had 3 outfits in the control room because I was off doing interviews for various things, and just trying to raise that awareness, raise the profile of the event and the sport, but also use that opportunity to thank those people that had been involved. And to be honest, I spent quite a lot of time doing laps, just walking around the venue, going to different exactly, you know, going to different hotels, making sure that things were just in place, checking on where my team were based, checking in with different people from management of different teams, just to see what feedback they were giving about the event. You know, the delivery staff are very, very head down, they're very trying to deliver. I'm trying to speak to those people and learn what we can improve for the next day or the next day. And then, you know, just dealing with things as they happen, and having to manage changes as and when they occur, because they always do. And like a big shout out to my whole team, but my colleague Jane Bown, who did the overnight transition from 2 courts to 1 court, she pulled, you know, the most amazing overnighter to do that transition. But then I was in at 4 a.m. in the morning and stayed until close to cover. You know, we had to share those jobs because we were so sort of thinly spread, I suppose, in terms of a team. So it was also stepping into the shoes of other people, when other senior management, when they needed that rest, because, you know, 14 days of continuous work, everybody needs to rest. So I didn't see that much of the netball. I saw the final and a little bit of the sport relief match, but generally it was just I guess ran on the adrenaline and the buzz of the great feeling that there was in that venue for every single person I spoke to.
No, it certainly was electric. And I bet a lot of the team didn't get much sleep, but it was worth it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I said to one of my colleagues, I survived on Diet Coke and Rollies fudge for most of the 2 weeks.
Rollies fudge? Where did you get that from?
Lindsay Satori, who's the president of England Netball, delivered a big bag of it to the control room. I it kept me going, that's for sure.
Well deserved. I mean, you must have so many memories over the 10 days and more as well. If you had to sort of pick one favourite moment, what would that be?
Probably Sunday morning prior to the doors opening. So I remember going and sitting in the stands and just taking a moment to really think about what had happened in the last 11 days, what it meant that it was nearly over, and what I was reflecting on in terms of what had been achieved. So it wasn't necessarily a moment of the event. I think that was a very personal moment for me. I've also got an amazing photo of my entire team on the centre of the single court, and it's actually I'm glancing over at it now because it's over there, and that was one of my favourite moments, was just bringing my delivery team together to have that photo and say thank you to everybody.
Oh, so good to hear your memories. Brings back so many for me, and I'm sure it does for so many other people that witnessed and watched the netball. So thank you, Lindsay, and enjoy reliving all those memories from a year ago of the Vitality World Cup.
Thank you.